opening review, I'm going to turn to myself.
Because he's selfish.
Because I'm selfish.
Yeah. And it's not that we gave it to him beforehand.
Yeah, and not that we gave it to him beforehand. I was excited for this movie because I love Andrew Stanton and I love Pixar. And this is how I feel like this movie was. I feel like Andrew Stanton about 11 years ago sat down and watched like The Phantom Menace and like got out of it and was like, I can do so much better than that. And he's like, I know this could have been a good movie. And he's like, I need to go make a good movie. Oh wait, I have to make a couple animated films. And so I'll just make Finding Nemo and WALL-E, some of the best films ever. And then somewhere in the world, he decided to put this. What I'm about to say will not only anger Steve, and that's not the only reason I'm saying it, but I actually do believe it. It's better than Star Wars. I think I had more fun watching this movie than I've had in a long time. I think it's better shot. I think it's better acted. I think it looks cooler. I was just head over heels for this film. I had a blast.
That's absurd.
I loved it.
I did not get that feeling sitting next to you at all.
It was awesome. I absolutely love this film. The moments when he was like, when he was just chopping these like green men up like crazy and they were falling all around him and they cut that in with his wife dying, I thought was really cool. I thought it's well acted. Now I'm not saying culturally it's going to have a bigger impact than Star Wars. I'm saying I liked it better than Star Wars.
Okay.
I'm going to buy it and put it on my shelf. Star Wars is not on my shelf.
I'm flip. It was good. It wasn't as good as Star Wars. If you're going to put it in that aspect, even outside of that, it was a good movie. And there were some great parts. There were some funny parts. But it was doing a lot of up and down for me.
I loved it. Yeah. This is awesome.
Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that.
I think it's
better than Star Wars.
You know what you say to that?
Yeah.
It was live action Aladdin in space. That's what you say to that.
Which is awesome. This movie's stinking good.
I actually did enjoy the movie quite a bit, a lot more than I expected to. But your statement has taken that enjoyment from like, yeah, it was decent to like, I hate this movie now because of you.
Because you have to tear down. You have to tear down Nate from his tower.
All right.
This is why he wanted to go first.
Yeah. No. Not only that, but I think
I'll take John Carter.
I think it's easily better than the prequels.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, the first two.
Yeah.
The third one, I'd say it's about equal prequel.
I don't care.
And like
follow.
his abilities get like greater and greater over time.
Because they're muscles, Steve.
Yeah, they're muscles. You work them out.
He would adjust to the atmosphere and it would decrease over time.
That's a dumb idea, sir.
I didn't like.
You and your
that's like
logic.
saying, well, that's evolution within a generation, which wouldn't happen. Successive generations.
But his muscle because the gravity is less.
Right.
He would lose muscle mass over time
unless he's working it out, which he clearly was.
Clearly was working out.
But how much? I mean,
really, you're going to whine about that.
Sometime.
Oh, he'd get weaker. He couldn't jump that far.
I'm just saying. That was one of the things that kind of bothered me. Because I think part of it is I don't think I really knew the story, and so at the beginning, that initial like him trying to figure out how to walk and all this stuff. Yeah, that was amazing. I love that scene. That was absolutely incredible. And they did a lot of things in this really smart. Like how they handle language, and some of the humor was really good. Like when they go to the wrong place and he just smacks. That was incredible. Yes. That was really good.
Because it's like a plot point, and it's it's like
there was this. So then the things that annoyed me really annoyed me, and especially because they all seemed to emanate from
kind of sounds
this
like
actor.
Star Wars.
They all seem to emanate. What's the actor's name?
Weak protagonist. Dare we say Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill's not weak. He's a good joker.
Oh, really?
He's a good joker.
He's a good joker. That's not a protagonist.
He didn't say protagonist. He said he's not weak.
Yeah, the dialogue and the acting and everything is really bad in the first Star Wars.
Yeah.
But the world building is so amazing that you kind of are able to look past that. I didn't see that.
You have kind of a seaweed. Yeah, and we're going to turn to Kevin for his opening review because this was one of his big suggestions and one of his childhood.
Actually, somebody else suggested it, and when I heard it, I said, "Yeah, I'll watch that," because I watched it when it came out, and it just so happens about every 3 or 4 or 5 years I see it again. It's on TV or it's on HBO or something. And so I'll jump at the chance to see this.
So people still show it, huh?
But okay, now before y'all, what did you say, softly or whatever?
Whatever. Before we start pounding.
Yeah. If you think the time that this came out, 28 years ago, and the other movies that were coming out at that time, you got to take into consideration the level of technology. Okay, granted, the acting is mediocre, kind of on level with John Carter. And
it's okay. It's okay.
No, actually, I would agree.
John Carter
for the time.
John Carter does not have Liam Neeson.
That's true.
But
it does have Mark Strong.
You got to take him out of context. At least you can't watch it today and say, "Oh, this movie sucks." Well, yeah, compared to what you see in the movies today, it sucks. It nobody would go see this. But back then, Star Wars Episode 6 came out, Return of the Jedi, and that was actually which one?
Aliens.
Aliens, really?
I think that came out.
Yeah, that came out later because I just looked it up quickly. It wasn't on the list, but it was other movies. And thinking back on the technology, then it wasn't top of the line, but it was good, and it had the storyline that fit the time period. The
80s was unfortunate for special effects because they were just pressing past that cusp of like physical effects, and people were like toying with computer-generated graphics.
Right.
And so you could see a lot of them trying to experiment.
You still have
it doesn't look good.
But it's
5 years,
which has not
6 years
aged well,
before it really caught on it and helped the movie and not...
Enemy Mine? Is that come out around?
Enemy Mine would have been around the same time.
Yeah.
I thought a lot about
really
it
like
when
it.
I watched this.
It's not one of those where I'm going, oh, you got to go see that movie. It's a great movie. It's a good movie. If you like science fantasy, it's a good movie. There's good parts and bad parts.
No, go ahead.
This will be a fun movie to watch in a group because I realized it was great at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't fault it for its special effects, but there is so much cheese that in a group this would be a blast.
It would be a blast
to watch. Especially like the flamethrower arm. Like you get married and all of a sudden you have flamethrower arms. That's amazing. That's so much fun.
Well, they both dip their hands in the
but she has
cauldron, flaming
Mm-hmm.
water. I don't know.
She's been holding this around. Why the heck isn't she using it?
Because she has an English accent.
Right.
What I took from that is when you get married, whether it's anybody, peasant or royalty, you get that ability.
Flamethrower arm.
So why are people getting married more?
I don't know. I think it was
Liam Neeson got married 7 or 8 times in that.
That's why. Wonder where flame could come out of his body. Eventually you run out of arms. Yeah. Brian, you love like good bad movies, like cheese like this.
Yep.
So I'm really curious about how you feel.
This was my favorite of the 2 movies that we watched this week.
You gotta save that for later.
No, it's right now. This was the better movie that out of the movies that I watched. The main character had a purpose. He was narrow in vision, but narrow in purpose, but wide in vision.
Yeah.
But I loved this. Everything about it. I don't know what it was. It was so 80s and so fun.
It's very 80s.
And it was like everything I wanted in this movie. And it was everything that I was expecting.
I walked away from this wondering, do we need to apologize for the 80s?
My problem... No, I haven't.
Yeah.
No, Lady Hawk, Lady Hawk is
Lady Hawk and Legend.
Really good. And it's so incredibly 80s, but it's still really good.
I like that better.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
It's
you can, the super 80s cheese can be done really well.
Right.
And Lady Hawk's an example of where it's done really well. This was not done, and mainly because of the acting.
It's the acting, and I think it's the characters are not strong enough.
When this came out, this wasn't set out to be the cheese movie, though. This was the serious thing.
This is the epic.
Right.
And it flows like
it's not based on anything.
No, which I give it credit
unusual.
for. Yeah.
It's fermented a bit and become cheese over time, obviously.
Originally, it
didn't do well. It only made a quarter of its budget.
Really?
It did not do well at all. It completely bombed.
It was very.
It had a huge budget though for its time.
Yeah, one of the most expensive budgets of its time. Like
this is the second Peter Yates movie we've watched and talked about, which is interesting.
The first one was Breaking Away. I don't know if that made its budget or not, but it probably made like $30. Probably that's what its budget was.
It got nominated for Best Picture.
No, it was a good movie, but there was like no budget for that.
Yeah, and Breaking Away is better. But
I think a lot of. I mean, even though the level of acting has gotten better. I can distinctly remember even then the acting wasn't great in this compared to other things at the time.
Yes, yeah.
And I think that really hurt it when it came out and you know, to get people to really go want it.
Pound on you.
Soft spot. I have a feeling it's going to happen. That's okay. It's kind of.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see if it's like a playful pounding or if we're just going to, kick in the balls.
We almost had to clean up the table. How dare you?
So, Kevin, we might give you a playful pounding or a rough pounding, depending on